What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about a few different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about the Halloween game, we'll be talking about Scream 7, we'll be talking about weapons, and we'll be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So starting off here with Halloween, the chief creative officer for IllFonic said this to Bloody Disgusting about the Halloween game. There's a lot of stuff they said. It was an interview they had. He said, "We don't want to just make the same thing over and over again, retaining the same mechanics and only switching out locations or killers to tie into whatever IP we're adapting. We want to meaningfully evolve. My vision is that if someone owns all of IllFonic's games, then they'll bounce between them based on their present mood, because each of them should have a unique feel. One day you might be in the mood for the chaos of killer clowns, the next you might fancy something slower and more methodical, like Halloween. Most other asymmetrical horror games are about escaping, but that's not the ultimate objective for the surviving players here. Instead, you're trying to stop Michael's rampage and save the town. You can eventually end the match and spectate, but the goal is always more complicated than merely run around, loot, and escape. We think that makes it feel new and interesting, but keeping it focused on the original film made the most sense to us. The lore is more straightforward. Michael is still young and spry. It just works. However, we're leaving it open to connect to the other train stations later on down the line if we want to. We'll see what happens." So a lot of new images had come out in the last several days since that announcement, as you can see coming across the screen. The story mode is also sounding more promising. I think that last statement from him is alluding to the fact that we could be getting like a Smith's Grove map, maybe a Tower Farm map down the road, some other things from the franchise people want to see. Jamie's house from Halloween 4, maybe the house from Halloween 5. Wait, I think that's the same house, but we also know that Nick Castle is coming back as the Shape. I want this game to work, but I don't blame anyone for being wary because of Gunn's involvement. But let's keep our fingers crossed that this ends up being one of the better games we've gotten with their involvement from recent memory, and the pain of the Friday the 13th game can be washed away. Not that that wound will ever just be completely gone for many of you. But let's jump into Scream 7. So Scream 7 is all by itself now, as Cat in the Hat is delayed to November. Now that is good, because until further notice, that is an empty weekend for Scream 7 to do whatever it can with the general public. Like I've been stating, Scream is a very popular IP. You guys know that, and the production problems with 7 do not outnumber the general interest in Scream. If 7 made less than 6, I also wouldn't put that solely on what happened with Melissa Barrera. If anything, that'd be a time to consider if Scream has become one of the many IPs audiences are getting sick of seeing countless sequels from. I say that because when looking at what's transpired with Jurassic World, you're seeing diminishing returns for Jurassic Park. Ever since Jurassic Park came back in 2015, it's been diminishing returns, I think. And now we're at a point where we're finally under 1 billion. So we can start to see stuff happen like that with the Scream franchise too. So if you see a diminishing return, but it's still profitable, I'm not going to say that's solely on Melissa Barrera. I'm going to say that's probably more so due to the fact that audiences are getting tired of sequels and reboots and constant remakes and anything associated with any of those terms. So they said, okay, we'll just wait to watch Scream 7 at home. Neve Campbell also made it clear that she and Kevin Williamson worked on that script in the Your Favorite Scary Movie book. She said, "I've done a lot of work with Kevin on the script since we got to Atlanta and in December as well. To have a voice in what direction we want this to film to go is wonderful." It is wonderful, because based off what's been shared with me about Sydney's behaviors, again, the motive, how she acts in the film, and some of these tender moments between her and Gail, this is exactly how Sidney Prescott would act. It's just now you guys will have to wait and see what the story is and how it's all executed. But I have to say that on paper, I do think this will end up being one of Sydney's better outings. I think this will end up being one of her better outings. The material between her and Tatum is going to hit home for a lot of people, in the sense that you've been dying to see something like this for Sidney Prescott. See that home life, see that parent life, and now you're going to get that, see it interrupted. And it's not interrupted in a way that feels just lazy, I'll say. It's done in a very tasteful Scream 1 and 2 kind of way, which really brings a smile to my face, because those are the best 2 entries in the franchise. I think many of you would agree. Now, let's talk about weapons really quick. Amy Madigan recently had an interview discussing her brilliant performance as Aunt Gladys in Weapons. Here's what she had to say about that iconic character. She said, "I think she's a very misunderstood woman. For lack of a better term, I am the bad guy in the movie, but a girl's just doing what she has to do to get through. She has a plan, but I don't think she quite knew how that was going to unfold. She's like an artist. She's very extemporaneous. I think she's moved around a lot. She's had to go to different places, and when one's not working, she's kind of a creative invention. Okay, I'm going to have to reach out to this family. She's really needy in the sense that she needs all these people. She can't do it on her own, and I found that really intriguing about her. She manipulated a few people, and I understand that, but she has such confidence, and she's charming in this really sick way. She just makes me sit up. Gladys, she just spoke to me. So this is a lot of praise for a character that is just completely unhinged, but the praise is also very understood because I kind of agree with what she said. I understand where you're coming from. The aura around Gladys makes her worthy of such praise from an actress who brought her to life so wonderfully as Madigan did. I enjoyed Aunt Gladys to death. You guys heard me talk about her in the video I did, kind of saying I'm on the fence about the whole concept of a potential prequel. You guys heard me talk about her in the spoiler-free review. Just nothing but praise for Gladys. And then even prior to that, without giving too much context, I did tease Gladys in some of my weapons videos, or one of my weapons videos, and I also teased it a bit on Twitter if you've been following me. I pointed out Gladys when the trailer dropped. I was already well prepared for Gladys to just steal the show, and Amy Madigan's performance didn't let me down. The way Gladys was described in the screenplay, the way Gladys was showcased in the trailer, I just knew that Gladys was going to be the talk of the town, and that's exactly what ended up happening. And Amy Madigan being the one to give us the latest horror icon in the sense of a solo film, because I don't think this should become a franchise, that was a nice thing to see. That was a very nice thing to see, and I need to see Weapons again before it leaves theaters because I want to go to Aunt Gladys' house one final time before I can't anymore. Now, let's conclude this video by talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So Jensen Gering and Jordan Banks have reportedly been cast in New Sunnydale. Now, Jensen was discovered on IMDb, which can be hit or miss, but it says he's playing Cole. And if you recall, Cole is going to be very tapped into the Sunnydale rebuild. At least that's what's planned. And Jordan Banks is a bit more credible because his talent agency congratulated him on Instagram. It's been pretty quiet with filming of this pilot as of late. The cinematographer shared an image or two a couple days ago, but I'm still going to be predicting that Hulu will announce a series during the month of October this year. And then, as the trades reported, filming happens in March for the rest of the season, and it premieres a year later for the 30th anniversary of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in March of 2027. That is what I see transpiring when it comes to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But what do you guys think about all this? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, and miss a video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.